Hello everyone, my name is Anansh Prasad and I am the founder and managing director of SkillSphere Education. We at SkillSphere Education are delighted to be curating this group called the Learning Sphere along with Kriya and Classcapates, and you're going to be seeing a lot of different interesting videos, articles and other pieces of information which are going to help all of you develop a range of skills which are just as essential as academic skills, but often not given the level of importance they deserve. Well, 21st century skills are absolutely indispensable in long term growth and success, and this is what the learning sphere is all about. You're going to be seeing quite a lot of me over the next few sessions as we embark on our journey of development of different skills that SkillSphere Education focuses on. To give you a brief, we at SkillSphere Education are a pan-Asian organization focusing on the development of skills like communication skills, general awareness, problem solving, design thinking, and basically all those other skills essential for long-term success in life. The first set of videos that we are going to be posting are related to the entire concept of communication. And today's video is going to start off from one of the most basic aspects of communication. We are going to make this a little interactive. Obviously, I cannot hear what you're saying because this is a pre-recorded video, but I'd love it if you are at least mentally answering my questions to yourself. So my first question is that if I were to ask any of you to speak about yourselves for a period of 5 minutes, how many of you would be confident of doing so? Just 5 minutes. Okay, for all the parents watching this video, I'm assuming you'd be at least 30 to 35 years old. And for, of course, our main target audience are students. Y'all are in the age group of 10 to 14 years. All right. So if you had to calculate the number of minutes that you have lived in your life, that would probably be 10 into 365 into 24 into 60. Now, if any of you are good at mathematics, I'm sure you would have already come up with this answer. But for all of the rest of us, well, this number runs into lakhs of minutes. All I'm asking you to do is from those lakhs of minutes, speak about yourselves for 5 minutes. How many of you would be confident of doing so? Think about it. Well, let me tell you the real truth about this. Statistics suggest that 98% of the people in the world cannot speak about themselves for anything more than 18 seconds, because a typical person will always say, my name is XYZ, I work here or I study here, I belong to this city, and the fourth most typical answer is my father's name is XYZ. All right. Now, it's very important to understand that they often say that first impressions are last impressions. Now, whether this is absolutely true is debatable, but introductions play a major role in ensuring you get to know somebody well enough and you're able to approach them. So approaching them with a positive first impression is extremely important. Now, let me tell you, no one would ever have to introduce themselves for 5 minutes, but it's important for us to be able to speak about ourselves for that duration. There are a lot of questions that people might ask us, which we must be confident of answering. And most importantly, this is a reflection exercise. It's an exercise that allows us to get to know more about ourselves. Many times we don't reflect on ourselves, what we want, what we do, and so on. And it becomes very important to do so at times in order to develop confidence. Public speaking and communication always starts off with self speaking. It's funny how if we had to speak about anything else in the world, like our favorite sport or our favorite fashion brand or our favorite game on a mobile phone, we'd probably be able to speak for minutes. But when it comes to ourselves, we often struggle. So I'm going to teach you the entire art of what we call the long form of introduction. All right. So in the long form of introduction, there are basically 5 questions that you have to answer about yourself. The first question is any incident or experience in the world that changed the way you perceive it. Okay. So basically any incident or experience you have had that changed the way you perceive the world or changed you as a person, made you more positive, made you think differently. And trust me, everybody has an experience if you reflect on it. All right. It can be something very simple. It can be something very complex. You need not go overly personal into this as well. The second question is your characteristic traits. Are you a bubbly person, a chirpy person, an introvert, an extrovert? The third question is, what are the things in life that make you feel very happy? What are the things that are basically your hobbies? What are your hobbies? What do you do in your free time? All right. The fourth question is, if you were in a crowd of people, what is that one thing that would make you stand out? And trust me, this is a very important question. Everybody has something that would make them stand out. And it is extremely, extremely important for you to be able to identify and speak about this. And lastly, your personal details, your name, what is your education, where do you study, what city you belong to, and any other details that you'd like to share about yourselves. Okay, so 5 questions. Any incident or experience that changed the way you perceive the world, your characteristic traits, your hobbies, what is the one thing that would make you stand out in a crowd of people, and your personal details. I will introduce myself as a way of introducing myself to the learning spheres as well and in general, so that all of you get an example that you can practice. So here goes. I'm not going to say question one, question two, and you don't need to do that either, but I'm going to answer the questions in the flow. So, when I was actually a student in the sixth standard, I was one of those students who was academically very good, but struggled whenever it came to speaking in front of a crowd of people. You know, my legs used to start shivering. I actually used to start stammering, and I don't have a stammer otherwise. So, I was really very nervous. And if I had to talk to 2 or 3 of my friends, I could speak perfectly, but in front of a crowd, I just did not have the ability to do so. Then what happened is that one fine day, my English teacher, Miss Neera Bhatt, she told all of us that she's keeping an extempore speaking competition and all of us are going to have to speak. Each and every one of us is going to have to speak. Okay, and we have to speak for a period of 1 minute. Extempore speeches are speeches on topics that are given on the spot. So I was mortally scared. I did not want to go to school the next day when the competition was going to be held. And I tried to come up with every single possible excuse. And mothers are smart, unfortunately. So I was sent to school. And as luck would have it, I was the first person who was called to speak. Okay. And the topic that I was given to speak on is my school. Now, I knew that school in and out, and I could have probably spoken about it to my 2 or 3 friends for even 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. But in front of a class of 40 students, I was absolutely shivering and refused to open my mouth. So my teacher, Miss Neera Bhatt, stood behind me with a needle in her hand and said, Anansh, if you don't open your mouth, I am going to dig that needle into your back until it comes out from the other side. So you better start speaking. So that fear of the needle made me speak. And as luck would have it, I spoke for 1.5 minutes. I spoke quite confidently. And that was the first time that I realized I could be a public speaker. All right. And from there on, I went on to become the head boy of the school. I was the president of Debaters Associations of India, MUNing Associations of India as well through college. And now life has come around circle because I'm a communication skills trainer for all of you students and adults as well. So, well, that is that one incident that changed the way I perceive the world. Later on, in fact, I got to know that my teacher did not have a needle. It was just a psychological exercise. And that's really worked well for me. So that is the incident that changed the way I perceive the world. My characteristic traits are I am a very talkative person, which is why I am in this field. I absolutely love doing creative work. And I believe I have good leadership qualities. The different hobbies, what are the different things that I would like to do in my free time? Well, I love reading. I'm a voracious reader. I love watching all kinds of sports and I love playing the guitar. The one thing that would make me stand out in a crowd of people is my adaptability. I believe I can speak to anybody, irrespective of whether they are 8 years old or 80 years old. And my personal details, my name is Anansh Prasad. I am the founder and managing director of SkillSphere Education. I have been born and brought up in Mumbai. I have done my master's from Cornell University, USA. Today, SkillSphere Education is conducting its programs for over 70,000 individuals across India and the Middle East. And we are very happy to have started off the learning sphere as well. So thank you so much. This video is a little longer than some of the other videos, but I had to give my introduction. And now as a task, I would like all of you students to think about the answers to these 5 questions and prepare your long form of introduction. As I mentioned, you're probably never going to have to introduce yourself in this way, wherein you have to speak about yourselves for 5 minutes, but you should be confident of doing so. All right. Thank you so very much. And all of you on the learning sphere, see you until next time. Please do share the word and have other people join into the learning sphere as well by filling up the Google form. Bye bye.